So, let's go with the typical 3, 2,
Oh, hold
1.
on, hold on. Oh, I thought I wasn't ready, but I'm ready. Sorry.
Nice.
Do it again.
All right. 3, 2, 1, and go. Back into the game. And this is going to be Nicov versus BacT as part of the Escape Gaming Masters Aoe2 tournament, which you guys can watch on twitch.tv/Escape Aoe. Two very interesting civilizations here on the map. Serengeti, a very aggressive open map. We've got the Indians versus, dun dun dun, the Portuguese.
Yeah, awesome matchup, and one that we've not seen yet. So, we're still seeing new stuff, and I love it. And one thing I've got to say before we really get going here is just how much I've enjoyed seeing pro players take these new civs. I mean, you can't even really call the Portuguese or the Indians a new civ anymore because they were released quite some time ago now, but they've not been picked up by the pro players. They've not been played by them yet. And now we get to see all of that, plus some of the Rise of the Rajas stuff. And I'm really starting to appreciate how good some of these civs are in terms of design, or from a design standpoint.
Oh yeah, I have always admired the way that FE has set up these civs so that they not only fit into the Age of Empires aesthetic, but a lot of them encourage some very interesting gameplay. So to rehash quickly, something that we were talking about during the draft is that the Portuguese, so they get their 15% gold discount on all units. This is a very flexible bonus, and as the game drags on, it becomes even better because it applies to everything. And in the early game, it's not so great. It doesn't allow you to. The 3 militia drush actually costs you 51 gold, which I mentioned earlier. And in the Castle Age, when they have access to like monks and knights, it starts to become really insane. The Indians are not a particularly fast civ either, but they have a pretty strong economy early on in comparison.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say about the Portuguese gold saving is that it's nice from a standpoint on this map that the gold is very sparsely it's spread out and it's quite sparse. So because you've got this bonus where your units cost less gold, it's basically saying, okay, well, your gold mines last longer. So that means that BacT doesn't have to move out away from his starting position for a bit longer, and that could give him a little more safety if he is playing very defensively against Nicov's forward or something. Not to say that Nicov will forward, but if Nicov does play aggressively, that's something to keep in mind. Nicov, I mean, is going to, of course, take advantage of his cheaper villagers, and we've said this earlier on in this today as well, that the Indians' bonus is so nice that they can boom on 3 or 2 TCs, 3 TCs, at the same time as making quite a lot of army, just because every single villager costs them that much less. And they can save a huge amount of food over the course of the game, and especially in the Castle Age, that's when it really becomes a great bonus for them.
Oh yeah, I would say that the Indians have a very powerful economic bonus at their disposal, especially after the buffs that they receive. So if we're talking a little bit about the map itself, we both said that this is a very aggressive map, and this is of course because the tree line is very sparse and sometimes even has holes in it. This is the type of thing that looks very nice aesthetically, but can be quite difficult to play with all the gaps in the trees. Thankfully though, acacia trees do have 150 wood now as opposed to 100, so that's a little bit better. This map just has a very bizarre distribution of resources. The elephant's actually granting more food than a boar, so it's 400 instead of 340. And players trying to really get as much value as they can out of their ostriches by luring them under the TC.
Yeah, I hate playing this map. I love watching it, but it's one
too.
of those maps I absolutely hate playing this map because I just feel like so stressed out playing this map. There's so many extra little fiddly things to remember. You can't just have a relaxing game on Serengeti. You have to focus 110% because, like you said, the holes in the tree lines can really mess you over. The uneven, weird distribution of resources really catches people out. And although, yeah, there is actually quite a lot of food to start with, it's where it's positioned and how awkward it is to get to that really makes this map annoying to play. But this is why I appreciate watching a pro game on this map, because pro players are able to think ahead. They're able to execute things very efficiently, so it gives them more time in the game to think about these things like walling and positioning and how they handle it, rather than just the mad furious clicking which I do when I'm desperately trying to make something happen and have no idea what the best way to do it is. So yeah, right now we see BacT with the barracks, and I think he wants to get aggressive, same as Nicov. Makes sense.
Yeah, both players with a barracks, because again, you don't want to be twiddling your thumbs when you're playing on Serengeti, as it's a map that keeps everyone on their toes. You do, by the way, have a set of ostriches and zebras, so much extra food here. Once again, encouraging players to go aggressive, and having a reduced amount of berry bushes doesn't really matter that much. You'd much rather have the extra hunt. This map also has like 2 terrains that don't often come into play, but can be quite difficult to play around. They have that quicksand terrain, which you just can't build on, and then that cracked sand terrain where your buildings, I think they have like half the HP or something like that when you build on them. Are we going to see a garage? Huh?
I was going to say about the terrain, yeah, it makes it fall a lot faster, and that's another thing, actually. The terrain makes it harder to wall as well, because, you, as you said, you cannot build on this, this light, sandy stuff. So, Drush, I mean, we should. I think the barracks, I don't know, actually, when the barracks came up. Both players now making militia, right?
This might be men-at-arms, I think. I think this is men-at-arms, because we see that 2 on gold, which is kind of a dead giveaway, and the militia production was delayed for both players, so we might end up seeing some men-at-arms pressure. Only 2 militia down for Nicov. He's just waiting to have that extra gold. 3rd one coming down. Also, this map is just so many hills, too. This is an aggressive, ridiculous map.
Yeah.
And speaking of ridiculous aggression, is this a tower rush or a forward from BacT?
Well, it's certainly 4 villagers moving forward, as well as that militia chasing up the rear. BacT actually, I mean, it's funny because you look at, you remember that these villagers will only carry 10 resources at this stage of the game. It makes his gold income look so strange when he's got 9 gold. It's like, yeah, the savings are there. They're minute right now, but they will certainly add up as the game goes by. But yeah, I mean, most of the times we've seen this map, it has come down to one player denying wood lines, and that's the main thing, the wood. I wouldn't even say that the gold is a problem or the stone is a problem. It's really the wood. BacT can come forward here with a tower on this wood line and just disrupt Nicov so much and keep an open pathway into his base as well. So let's see if he can do that now, as Nicov is the first to the feudal age. So he has the potential to build a tower before BacT does. BacT's trying to just stall for time with these houses, I think.
And now we get to enjoy the brand new Indians architecture that was updated in the Rise of the Rajas expansion. It's like you said, that Portuguese bonus, it's ramping up, and we are seeing quite a bit of aggression here with 2 forward houses from BacT, but he hasn't really revealed what his game plan is. But Nicov has. Nicov coming with the men-at-arms upgrade. What will BacT do with these villagers?
Don't underestimate the forward houses, man. They are silent but deadly. You know, you never know when something might spring out from one of these houses and catch you unawares. Of course, if they were Khmer houses, that could be the case. But Nicov here, adding extra man-at-arms, I like this. I love this because I really like to see players committing a bit more to the militia line. And adding an extra unit or 2, Nicov now up to 5 man-at-arms, could be great. BacT, is he doing the man-at-arms upgrade? Yes, it's on the way in. But of course, Nicov wants to fight before that, and he's pushing now, getting a little aggressive.
Yeah, and he has to wait for that men-at-arms upgrade before he's actually going to fight. And the men-at-arms upgrade is down, but so many forward villagers from Nicov. One of the saving graces here is that those villagers aren't actually gathering anything. This fight is going to be close, but I feel like Nicov has been chasing a lot of units with his. And there is an archer range here. Who's going to come out on top?
Man, it is messy. BacT adding in the skirms is certainly going to help, but I feel like Nikov's got the edge here. It looks like, well, I mean, both of them have lost a few villagers each. BacT has lost all of his forward vills here, though. This one having to go back on 11 HP, and this is risky now because this archery range is kind of marooned out here. Couple of friendly houses nearby, but they don't offer much in the way of protection. We could see Nicov come forward and try and wall this up because he is going to be able to secure map control. He is going to push BacT all the way home, and Nicov taking a great fight, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think this was a great fight for him, and critically, BacT's 3rd forward house is denied. So if I had to say, I think one of the things that turned around this engagement for Nicov and allowed him to come out on top is that, well, BacT ended up opening up with a couple of skirmishers. He didn't really have much gold in the bank, and also maybe he made those skirmishers just anticipating the archers from Nicov, which he knew were coming. But the thing is those skirms only deal 1 damage to the men-at-arms, and Nicov opened up with archers immediately, and I think that helped him come out on top. BacT really on the back foot, really nothing to defend himself. is this going to be a fast game? Because that forward archer range is not going to let him rally troops.
No, exactly. BacT here actually committing to more man-at-arms. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but he needed something at home, so I guess it's his only option. Right now, taking quite a bit of stone. I think he's looking for some defensive towers over here, but Nicov should just push this advantage, make sure he's continuing to keep the pressure up, and he's doing just that, sending archers over. You can see that he's going to be sending them over, I think, 1 or 2 at a time, and just keeping the pressure up. In the wood line now, BacT's going to lose another villager, and BacT's taking some heavy losses here.
Yeah, and I think at this point, BacT's only option is to pull a bunch of villagers off the line and force this fight. I think the less skilled player would just run all of his villagers away and just take so much free damage, so it's good to see him actually pulling some off. The question is did he pull off enough villagers to win this fight? And it's close. Still, though, even though he needed to do that to defend himself, he ended up getting a lot of idle time, losing quite a few villagers. BacT not out of the game yet, because he's finally retreated some ranged units. Maybe he can claw his way back into this.
BacT's lost 3 villagers there. He lost another 3 at the front. He's down 6 villagers already, and Nicov has a huge advantage now. Not only that, but Nicov had fletching in that fight, allowing him to do that crucial extra 1 damage per arrow to those villagers, allowing him to probably get more kills than he would have done without it. So Nicov now just needs to press the engagement to BacT, and honestly, I feel like Nicov is so much in control of this game right now. And even if he's not completely in control of the map entirely, he's way ahead in villas at this stage.
Yeah, and I think it all boils down to BacT not having another archer range in his own base. That forward just completely backfired for him. And when you're playing on a map like Serengeti, usually your forward isn't that big of a risk. I mean, it is, but if you end up losing out on that early fight, you can still maybe wall up, play a bit defensively, but on Serengeti, that's not even close to an option. Your wood lines are absolute crap, and BacT has a well-positioned defensive watchtower, but he's really just not able to get these good fights. He has the hill advantage, and men-at-arms coming in, but some good micro from Nicov wasting those shots.
Yeah, he cannot fight this, even with a hill. He's outnumbered, and he still doesn't have fletching. Believe it or not, BacT doesn't even have a blacksmith. So in come the archers, and we're going to see more dead villagers here. He got another one on the left side. He's going to get more over towards this gold mine, and BacT has now like 7-8 idle villagers, not doing anything, and just being massacred by these archers. Nicov just gonna not even engage BacT's army. He's just going for the vills here, and why not? If he kills 2 more villagers or 3 more villagers with this army, it doesn't matter if they all die. He's already secured himself a victory, in my opinion.
Absolutely agreed there. Even though BacT has to pull off the villagers, it doesn't matter because he's losing out in so much of his economy. And it's like we discussed earlier, Serengeti boils down to players fighting over control of the wood lines, and Nicov has definitive control here. BacT's economy in absolute shambles. We're at 36 population for BacT compared to Nikov's 53, and things are looking very grim for him. This is the type of map that I feel has almost no comeback potential.
It's grim, Jim. Yeah, it's super grim, because Nicov here, you know, he can easily hit this wood line, and he's also denying the stone from BacT as well. And BacT could really benefit from another tower or 2, but he just can't access the stone. He doesn't have a blacksmith yet, so he still doesn't have fletching, and every fight he takes is a bad fight, because in even numbers, BacT is always going to lose until he gets that fletching upgrade. He still can't afford it. He doesn't have enough food. He doesn't have enough gold, and he's going to lose more village. I think he's going to lose more villagers on this wood line here, and this is a brutal way to go, because this is an elimination match. If Nicov wins this, BacT will be eliminated, and that will be that.
Yeah, it's just all about that forward archer range. Not being able to reinforce himself, those units just getting cut off, and oh wow, he's going to call GG. That is one of the fastest games I've seen in a while. 20 minutes in, decisive victory from Nicov. But that forward from BacT did not work out.
Absolutely, and you know, kudos to BacT as well, though. He did fight his way through the qualification. He made it into the, well, nearly into the top 4. He's going to finish joint 5th, 6th in this tournament with that loss. Not a bad performance for him, considering that he came through qualification, and Nicov did finish top 4 last time in Battle for Angkor. But that was a very clear dominant victory for Nicov there. And I think we got to think about where did it really fall apart, and it was really at this fight at the archery range from BacT. Nicov, of course, had the defender's advantage. He was able to bring over a couple more men-at-arms, and that was all it took to swing the fight. BacT was down by 3 villagers. Nicov was able to pressure him all the way back to home, and at that point, BacT had his military production building too far away. He had no military production for a while until he managed to get the archery range up, and then his blacksmith was delayed, and then Nicov could just take every fight in his favor.
Yeah, it's just, I understand why he would go for a forward like that, because on a map like this, if that worked out, he could have absolutely won and snowballed that game so hard. On the other hand, it's very difficult to defend against a forward like that. And just that early fight, he really got kind of out-microed there, I feel like, and having only a couple of skirmishers compared to the archers, all that combined, the game snowballed out of control, and on a map like Serengeti, where it's so difficult to wall, and your wood line is as unsafe as humanly possible, it's quite difficult for these players to stage a comeback, and, well, that's exactly what we saw there.
Yeah, exactly. Villager high at the end for Nicov, 43 versus the 34 from BacT. There was a huge difference, and that was just the case of Nicov continually raiding, continually killing villagers. So, a good game. Sadly, BacT will be eliminated. Nicov will move forward in the lower bracket now, and we're going to throw it over to Nilpford for his analysis.